Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cybernetic V, but you can call me Stefan, which is my real name, or just Steph for short. I leave up to you which one you would decide to call me, but I do have a slight preference for Steph. Now that we've got the introductions out of the way, I'm gonna show you what I'll be doing. As you can see, I'm here at commentpicker.com and I'm going to be rifling which Pokemon I'll be doing a run with. By the way, this is post commentary, so everything I say will be after I've done the run. As you can see, I have a list of all the Gen 1 Pokemon here. Each name is only there once, so you know that I'm not duping this in any way to get any particular Pokemon. I checked the option to filter duplicate names, so all names are in there once, really. Now, I don't check the option to take out the name chosen from the list because I have uploaded a file from my computer with the names on it, so I deleted the name right after the run was over. After that, I choose to shuffle the names twice, even though the name will be chosen randomly anyway. And with all that in mind, we press the button and... Paris. Well, that's anticlimactic. I was really hoping that we would get an evolved form for a first run, but I mean, if it's Paris, it's Paris. Okay. With Pokemon chosen, we're actually going to be randomizing the game so that our starter is Paris. And for that, I do use a very useful tool called Universal Pokemon Game Randomizer, so huge thanks to the creators, because this tool is super easy to use, and you can randomize pretty much anything, and the best part is that you can use it from Gen 1 to 5. After being done, I change my background, and yeah, I have one ready for each one of them. Let's not forget to set the text speed to fast. I won't be using battle animations or this would take twice as long, and as for battle style, we'll go with set because this is a solo run and I only use Paras, other Pokemon are only there to help with HMs. For my name, we'll go for CV, and for the rival's name, well, since Gen 1 didn't have gender diversity, I will always be naming our rival with a girl's name. In this case, I actually choose Nora. So if you're watching this and your name is Nora, well, you're the first lucky winner. And I'm sorry, but I'll have to beat your Pokemon. After picking up Paras, I name him Shroomish, and I end up choosing Charmander for the rival starter, as Charizard is both fire and flying types, which Paras is both weak against. Speaking of weaknesses, at the time Paras was chosen, I wasn't entirely aware, but let's just say that he's got 3 major weaknesses. One is fire, the other is flying, and the last is poison, which, needless to say, ends up being pretty harsh, seeing as Charizard is both fire and flying, and poison is a pretty common type in the early game. So, for the first rival fight, things don't go as I had anticipated. We start by scratching each other over and over until I'm left with just 3 HP. For some reason, Charmander decides to growl at me at the end, and I hit one last scratch, not that I needed the crit though. After winning by a hair, I set out of Pallet Town to go get Oak's parcel, taking on a few Pokemon on the way so just I could level up a little bit, and well, I end up dying because PG outspeeds me and gusts me all the way back home. So I go again, trying to train on my way to Viridian so I could level up and become a bit stronger, and I miss, and then I get outsped again. Okay, well, this is promising. Right, let's try this again, but carefully. I do end up going to Viridian safely after that, and then I return to Pilot to give Oak his precious modified Pokeball and get my Pokedex. Now, I've got 2 choices. Either I go directly to Viridian Forest, or I train and go beat the rival. I decide to go to Viridian Forest first. That's when I realized that this run wasn't going to be easy, and things just turn into a disaster. I start off the fight by being outsped by Weedle. Even though it's 1 level lower and, well, Poison Sting is a thing apparently, it then goes for String Shot, but since it's faster than me anyway, it doesn't make a difference if it hits or not. And I start praying that it does use that more and more so I can beat it, and I just get destroyed. There's just no way I'm going through this yet. I haven't tried training in Route 2, but even a level 3 Weedle proves to be too much for Shroomish right now. I'm definitely not going to get through that forest so early. I mean, look at this, right? So, 15 minutes into the run and I've died 4 times already. At that point, I was beginning to question myself. Was this going to be the same throughout the whole game? By the way, the reason I use a timer is because I will be using 2 times speed if I need to go through intensive training, which ends up being the case with Shroomish. That way, we can determine how much time has really passed and how much time I took in game. I try going left from Viridian to train and completely forget that Spearow is able to use Peck, which is flying type. Shroomish just isn't able to tank a hit, and being a crit, it's just a death sentence. Well, only one place to train now. Back to Route 1. I end up leveling up to level 9 here, and I think it may be time to go back and try to beat my first trainer. Even though Weedle did a bad number on me with Poison Sting, I'm finally able to tank through it and defeat it after a couple of scratches. It does, however, only leave me at 7 HP, but I'm not poisoned, and I do outspeed it now, so that's good enough for me. With Weedle taken care of, it's time to fight Caterpie, and well, Caterpie just isn't good enough to keep up with Shroomish. It goes for Tackle, which only does 2 damage without crit, then goes for String Shot, which makes him outspeed me in the next turn, but it tackles again, doesn't crit, and that ends up costing it its life. Now, the question is, can I beat the second trainer, or will I need to train again? So, I tried to battle the second trainer and a level 7 Weedle. It starts off with Poison Sting, which takes almost half my HP. I scratch an ups over crit, but nope, just a normal hit. Goes for Poison Sting again, and I'm praying it uses String Shot next turn, but the problem is this Weedle means business, so it ruthlessly kills me. We're already up to 6 deaths, and I'm losing hope. 22 minutes into the game, and I don't know if I'm going to make it already. It then becomes obvious that if I'm going to be going forward, I would need a new move. The thing is, Paras only learns his second move, Stun Spore, at level 13, and while you would probably think that's not too bad, the fact remains that I can't fight Weedles because I lose, so the safest bets are either Kakunas or Metapods, which don't appear too often. I make a mistake while training and decide I would try my hand against a wild Weedle, and while I did beat it, I get poisoned, and instead of going for the antidote that's located to the north, I try and run back to the Poké Center. So another death for Shroomish, increasing our count to 7. I finally level up to 13, learning Stun Spore, and I decide it's time to defeat the second trainer. And well, things go better than expected. I paralyze the first Weedle, making it fully paralyzed not once but twice, so I'm able to defeat it without taking damage. Then Kakuna comes out, and it's just scratching until it's gone. It does take a couple of scratches, but it can't deal any damage, so we're good. And then the last Weedle gets paralyzed, and although it hits me once, it's just not able to compete with my buffed up Shroomish. I take my win and actually decide to go back and try to defeat Nora. All the experience is welcome. Let's just say I really lucked out here. Nora sends out Pidgey, and while it's able to sand attack me twice, which reduces my accuracy a lot, we're still able to defeat it in the end. Now Charmander comes out. I get scratched, and I'm left with 12 HP. Then I try stunning it, but I miss, so I get scratched again, 9 HP left. I scratch, but miss again, and Charmander decides to reduce my damage, but I'm finally able to deal some damage as scratch hits. Charmander manages to reduce my attack once more, and I answer by hitting with another scratch. But I get hit back next turn, 6 HP left. It's now do or die. I hit another scratch, but I get hit by a crit next turn, only 2 HP remaining, and I miss my target. No way I can win this. But for some reason, Charmander goes for Growl, misses, and I luck out and deal the finishing blow, beating Nora. I honestly have no idea how I got this lucky. While it couldn't use Ember yet, I shouldn't have won this fight. Sorry Nora, maybe next time. Then, after almost an hour, I'm finally able to make my way to Pewter. The last trainer in Viridian Forest was Child's Play, and I make my way into the city, just waiting to get my first badge. But wait, I don't have any good moves I can use. The only way I'm gonna win is by getting consistent crits, and definitely not on level 13. I still decide to enter the gym and try to defeat the trainer standing before Brock. Thanks to Sandshrew and Sand Attack, I'm unable to make it past him. And even though I could have tried again, and probably would have won because that was just bad luck on my part, I decided it's better to train a while and come back later. I decided to try again at level 16, and While I'm able to beat the first trainer, Brock isn't going to be that easy. Geodude has a lot of defense, and even by being paralyzed, he can still hit from time to time. I don't even get to try Onix since Geodude got me down to 1/4 of my health, so I decided to let myself lose this time. So my next objective became clear. If I was going to beat Brock, I would need a new strategy. I couldn't rely on luck, since I had used it all on Nora already, so crits would probably be out of the table for this one. The only way I was going to make it was by learning a new move, which Paris only learns at level 20. 4 levels and 25 minutes later at 2 times speed, and I learned Leech Life. Well, I'm just going to say that this is pretty much a game changer for a while. I go back to Brock. This time I was going to win. And sure enough, I start by using Leech Life and it deals a considerable amount of damage. I end up defeating Geodude with Scratch because I wanted to keep some moves for Onix. Once Onix comes up, I start by using Leech Life again, but realized that I wasn't hitting as much as I wanted to, so I tried to use Stun Spore. The thing is, Brock seems to have a lot of full heals with him because he keeps using them. Eventually, I do get a stun, Brock doesn't heal anymore, and I alternate my attacks between Leech Life and Stun Spore when Onix wanted to use Bide. I most definitely didn't want to get hit by Bide, I came too far to lose now. And just like that, after a lot of training, I get the Boulder Badge. Wait, 1.5 hours to get my first gym badge? Oh man, this is going to be bad, isn't it? Well, no. Remember when I said that Leech Life was a game changer? This is where it really starts to shine. See, many of the trainers around here have at least one poison Pokemon, and well, Leech Life is actually very effective against poison, making some of these fights super easy. So easy in fact that I'm able to get to Cerulean without breaking a sweat, beating all the trainers in my path because I figured that if I needed level 20 to beat Brock, it was pretty safe to assume that I would need all the experience I could get for the rest of the game. Once in Cerulean, my first thought was to go and try to beat Nora again. I knew Misty's gym wouldn't be a problem, so I wanted a challenge. Nora starts by sending Pidgeotto, and I instantly regretted coming here, as Pidgeotto is faster and can reduce my accuracy. Thankfully, it goes for Quick Attack, which doesn't deal much, and then I go for Stun Spore. On the very next turn, I mispress and use Stun Spore again, giving Pidgeotto an opportunity to strike, which it uses by making me blind. I do manage to beat it pretty easily anyway, since it got fully paralyzed twice and the only time he hit me was with Gust. Abra comes out, and I take this chance to replenish my HP, so I use Leech Life to beat it instantly, even though I miss once, but it's not a problem. Next is Ratata, and it goes down pretty quickly with just 2 scratches, but not without dealing some damage back to me. Even though it's not optimal, I could still manage. Last but not least, Charmander. First off, Charmander outspeeds me, which is bad. I'm not going to comment every turn because turns go by pretty fast in this fight, but check out the amount of misses and fails that happened in this battle. That massive amount of luck I got against Nora the first time just wasn't going to happen again. I ended up being hit by an Ember midway through the battle, but still survived. Tried to heal back, but Leech Life wouldn't heal enough, and in the end, I just get hit by Ember again. All of that for nothing, and I felt bad for losing after so much. But you can see just how long this part of the fight took, just because both Charmander and Shroomish would constantly be missing almost every turn. I also got my attack lowered so much that I couldn't even deal proper damage, even with Scratch. It was clear that if I hadn't been hit by Pidgeotto's Sand Attack, I would have been just fine, but it seems that Nora just didn't want me to win. Well done, Nora, but I'll get you next time. So I thought about going to Misty's gym first, then I'd go back to Nora. And it was like I expected. The gym was pretty easy, although the girl I had to fight just before Misty gave me some trouble with her Goldeen because it knew Peck, but that battle was okay. Misty was much easier. Seeing as water moves don't deal enough damage to Shroomish, and Starmie is half Psychic type, with Leech Life being super effective against Starmie, no hit was enough to make me feel scared at all. In fact, I was healing more than I was losing. And with that, we got our second gym badge. and it only took less than an hour to go from Rock to Misty, so maybe this could become a trend? Time to try Nora again. I level up against Misty, so maybe this will help a bit. Pidgeotto goes down pretty fast, but not before using Sand Attack first. Abra and Ratata are dealt with quickly as well, but Ratata managed to hit 2 Hyper Fangs before I defeated it, and with 47 HP, I was scared for my life. Charmander was going to be a tough cookie. And, well, although it did start with Ember, I'm actually able to make it through this time, missing a couple of times, but Charmander decided to let me live this time. Thank you. And sorry Nora, you'll get another shot later, I promise. After taking care of Nugget Bridge and Route 25, we help Bill recover his human form and get the SS ticket from him, which will allow us to board the boat in Vermilion. But right before I reach Vermilion, I enter a fight poisoned and with low HP, and I end up being defeated again. While I thought I would be beaten by his Spearow, I actually died against Eradicate. For some reason, I didn't go for Spore that I had learned earlier, and I could have won if I had used it. But the important thing is, the lesson was learned. I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. If Spore is there, it's to be used. After winning the battle, I go get my bike voucher, and then I go for the trainers at both Route 11 and the boat. Being done with them, it's time to face Nora again. Are you ready, Nora? Having Spore in my arsenal is going to make things much easier. First comes Pidgeotto, and while it wakes up immediately after the first Spore, I am able to make it sleep again. Also, by being so high leveled, I'm actually faster this time, and so Pidgeotto is done. And while battling the trainers, I learned Slash, and it's a blessing. Having a very high crit ratio, it's only going to help me in the future. Eradicate is sent, and Slash decimates it. Kadabra is just as easy as always. It is faster, but can't deal nearly enough damage. And before I know it, I'm already against Charmeleon. And even though I'm 16 levels higher, it is still able to outspeed me. It just goes to show how slow Paras is. And so I get hit with Ember, leaving me at 60 HP. That means I can only tank one more Ember before dying. Fortunately, I'm able to make it go to sleep, and after that, it's an easy win. Nora, from now on, you won't have an easy time against me anymore. Next, it's high time we obtain the Thunder Badge. I feel like fighting Surge will be okay. Turns out, I'm right. Voltorb comes out, and I slash it, defeating it immediately. The same happens when Pikachu is sent, just one slash is enough to take care of it, no surprise there. Now, for Raichu, I do go for Spore, but it turns out I didn't really need to worry, because a single slash was enough as I crit for the win. Third badge is ours, after almost 4 hours. This is taking a while, but let's press on. We go get our bike, and then I have a fun time taking care of every single trainer I could find between Cerulean and Lavender, and from Lavender to Celadon, leveling me up all the way to 43. Thinking back on it, I should have learned Body Slam, as it has a higher base power than Scratch and can actually paralyze, but I end up forgetting about it, so I use Scratch for most of the game. So, first thing I think of doing as I reach Celadon is to go fight the gym. At this point, I'm pretty over leveled, and being a grass and bug type against grass types would be easy for me. And so it was. The trainers all went down in a flash, then Erika was up. Even though I was poisoned, I didn't really care. My level and types all worked in my advantage, so I just went to battle her as soon as I was done with the last trainer. Victreebel wraps me with his first move, and that's just fine. I just wait until I'm free and I go for Leech Life, destroying it. Tangela is next, and I slash it until there's nothing left. Vileplume is then sent, and I just go for Leech Life every turn, dealing more than it can damage me, and awarding us our 4th badge. Things definitely are looking up right now, and it took less than an hour to get these 2 badges. I then fight my way through the rockets inside the casino's basement and get to face off against Giovanni for the first time. Even though this fight took a bit more time to beat, this was still a pretty easy fight. Again, I should have learned Body Slam. For Onix, I just slash my way through, making sure I take advantage of the crits, and sure enough, I crit and take it down. Same with Rhyhorn, I do use one leech life to recover a bit of health, but it's not like I needed to anyway. I get rid of it pretty quickly with Slash as well. Then comes Kangaskhan. And if I didn't use Spore up until now, I do against it, as it deals a decent amount of damage and I don't want to risk taking too many hits or even potential crits. After it goes to sleep, I slash my way to victory. Slash is becoming an essential. We pick the Sylph Scope from the ground and it's time to go to the Lavender Tower so we can battle Nora again. So Nora starts off by sending Pidgeotto, and by now I think you know what I'm going to do. Since I'm over 20 levels higher, I'm faster and use Spore, then go for a quick kill with Slash, with the crit, so no Sand attack this time. Then Nora's new addition to the team is Sand, Execute, and Leech Life just completely destroys it. Then it's time for Gyarados, and for the time being it's fine, I'm way too over leveled and I crit, but at this point I'm not too sure about the next encounters. Nora sends Kadabra, and needless to say that Leech Life is perfect for it. Charmeleon goes down really fast by going to sleep and then getting hit with a crit from Slash. I take care of the rest of the tower, using Leech Life to deal with ghost types, and while I get paralyzed a couple of times because of the move Lick, I can heal freely midway through, so it's not a big deal. And with that, Mr. Fuji is saved and we get ourselves a brand new Pokeflute. Next up, we can go to the Sylph building and fight Nora and Giovanni again. And since I feel confident because I've leveled up pretty well, I don't fight anyone that's not necessary here and go directly to Nora. Now, a big problem comes up. First, Pidgeotto is Pidgeot now, and it has a higher level, and it's now faster than us, and wow, that hurt. I wasn't expecting that much damage right off the bat. Fortunately, I'm able to make it sleep with Spore, then Slash, one Leech Seed to recover some HP, but since it didn't work well, I go back to Slash and finish it off with Scratch. Execute is next, and I'm glad it is because I could really use some HP recovery. Unfortunately, I get poisoned, and that's really bad because I'm either going to die from damage or from poison now. Anyway, I take care of Execute, and we got Gyarados next. Leech Life doesn't do nearly enough, and I end up losing more HP than I recovered, so I make it sleep and just slash until I get through. Alakazam comes up, and I just don't even get a chance to attack. I get outsped and Confusion crits. So I try again. This time, I was going to try for 1, not to get crit by Pidgeot, and 2, not get poisoned by Execute, and I get unlucky. Pidgeot awakens and I slash, and on the next turn Pidgeot crits and I'm done. Now, here's the interesting part. I could probably have won the fight, I just didn't think about it, but there is a move that I completely forgot to pick up, which is Swordsense, and what it does is, it boosts your attack by 2 levels each time it's used, and yeah, I completely forget about it, my bad. And so, I abandoned the idea of fighting Nora, and instead, I go fight every trainer in the dojo. After that, I go from route 12 to 15, battling every possible trainer, because I'll need the level ups if I'm going to beat Nora. Once I get to Fuchsia, I go grab Surf and Strength, and then I go for the gym. While the trainers in there were easy, oh boy did I ever underestimate Koga. I thought it would be a piece of cake. After all, they are poison type, and I have Leech Life and Slash, right? Oh no. No. Koga starts with coughing, and I take it out pretty easily with Slash, but I do get poisoned, and I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter, you know, I have Leech Life. My mistake came next, when I didn't use Spore on Muk. Not once, but twice, and I get destroyed by Sludge. Remember when I said I wouldn't repeat my mistake of not using Spore? Well done me. I go try again, this time using Spore anytime a new Pokemon was sent, and this was child's play. I easily beat him and got us our 5th badge. Now, this one took longer to get since I recap, but I think the next one shouldn't be too bad. After beating Koga, I go for a place I hated to do when I was a kid, but since desperate times call for desperate measures, I take it upon myself to battle every trainer in Bicycle Road, and it pays off, because thanks to that, I level up all the way to 62. And so, I think I should go back to Saffron. I should go say hello to Nora. Well, first off, I'm now faster than Pidgeot, and that's perfect. So I make it go to sleep and hit with a crit with Slash, taking it down. So far so good. Next up, Execute. Leech Life does the job, and we move on to Gyarados. Now, I was afraid of what it could do, so I go for Spore, which lets me get the quick win with Slash. Alakazam is next, and even though we leveled up quite a bit, it is still faster, but it doesn't do much damage, and we're able to take care of it with no trouble whatsoever. Charizard is called next, and I start having doubts. If I get hit with Ember and it crits, well, never mind that. Go to sleep, please. Fortunately, it doesn't wake up anymore, and I'm able to beat it with Slash, making this another victory against Nora. I'll see you in like an hour or two. Now it's time for Giovanni Part 2. There's not much to talk about this fight, but I'll break it down for you. Nidorino's first, a quick Leech Life and Scratch, and it's done. Next is Kangaskhan, same as before, we make it sleep when you need to, and go for Slash and Scratch when it's low. Raichu gets put to sleep and slashed until death. Lastly, Nidoqueen. I use Spore and then 2 Leech Life just to get my HP back to full and at the same time deal some good damage, but I end it with a Slash. GG. Next please. So, now that Saffron is free of Team Rocket, you know what's next. That's right, the gym. Of course, I get rid of any trainer there because why not? On a side note, I wouldn't have needed any of this if I had Swordsense, but it's cool. I mean, next time I'll know, right? And then the fight against Sabrina starts. She sends Kadabra, and while he's faster than us, he doesn't do anything. We put it to sleep and Leech Life for a quick kill. Mr. Mime comes second, and we use Spore and Slash him, ending with a Scratch because Slash couldn't one-shot him. Same thing happens when it's Venomoth's turn, except it doesn't wake up and I get an easy win against it. Last to be sent is Alakazam, and of course we get outsped. It uses Recover, which doesn't do anything. After he's asleep, we use Leech Life, but he wakes up and we get hit on the next turn. Not to worry though, as it uses Psy Wave and it doesn't deal nearly enough damage to be a threat. Like I said, this badge was way faster in comparison to the rest. We only have 2 things left to do. Go beat Blaine and then our last battle against Giovanni, and then we'll be able to challenge the Pokemon League. I make my way down from Pallet while battling any trainer because, let's face it, if Blaine hits me with a good fire move, I'm dead. So I'll need the experience. Then I reach Cinnabar and go get the secret key from the Pokemansion to open the gym. I don't battle the trainers there, but I noticed the wild Pokemon are pretty high level, so if I need any extra training, I can always come back here later. After taking care of all the trainers inside Blaine's gym, it's time for the big man himself. And it seems I was actually worrying for nothing. I'm faster than Growlithe, Spore, then Scratch a couple times and it's done. Same with Ponyta, Spore, then Scratch. Next is Rapidash. Blaine goes for a useless Super Potion and I make it sleep. I crit with Slash and I'm ready for Arcanine. Well, sure enough, Blaine goes for a Super Potion again and I use Spore, then I just Slash and get the win. Only one badge remaining. Giovanni, you're next. But first, I make sure to beat every trainer before him just in case he's got a surprise for me. Giovanni starts by sending his Raichu. I Spore, then, like always, just Slash it until it's down. Next up comes Dugtrio, and Giovanni goes for a guard spec, so I'm able to make it sleep and take it out swiftly with the Slash. We've got Nidoqueen up, and since we outspeed, we make it go Night-Night and use 1 Leech Life, 1 Slash, it wakes up, so we Spore again and then take it out with a Scratch. Great, now Nidoking. I use Spore, then Giovanni goes for an item, I go for Leech Life twice and another one is down. Then finally comes out the last remaining Pokemon. I go for Spore and outspeed, which is great. Then I get an easy win by slashing his HP all the way down. He does use Stomp in the end, but I put it back to sleep twice just to make sure I don't get hit with anything nasty and I get the final win. Now, standing here with 8 badges and a level 70 Paras, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. I still have one giant hurdle to surpass, and that is Nora. Where it all began, we shall fight again. Now get this, Nora is no weakling now. She's been training non-stop to get us. She starts with Pidgeot, and it's obviously faster than us, but doesn't do all that much damage, and we take it out pretty easily. Rhyhorn comes second. We use Sporin again, take it out pretty fast too, by using Slash then Leech Life when his HP is low so we can recover a little. I don't bother with Execute and just go directly for Leech Life, and it just goes down with no opportunity to do anything. Gyarados is next, and I can't say I'm happy about that. It could be pretty mean, but luckily we do outspeed, put it to sleep, then Slash and he's down. Now Alakazam does what Alakazam does, and goes for Recover, giving us a free pass, so we Slash and Scratch and go straight to Charizard. Then, as soon as the fight starts, I get hit by a Flamethrower. Yeah, just like that. I lost the fight in one move. I should have seen that coming, to be honest. And so, I get the idea to use all the rare candies I picked up until now. Maybe that will help. If I get to Charizard, I can probably tank a Flamethrower by a little. So I do that and go fight Nora again. Pidgeot goes down fast, Rhyhorn goes down quickly with Spore and Slash as well. Execute doesn't need a comment, he just gets hit with Leech Life and is gone. After that, Gyarados doesn't get a chance to do anything and gets the Spore and Slash treatment as well. Alakazam actually goes for Psychic this time, and it crits. So I go for Leech Life twice, but only go up to 139 HP, which isn't enough to tank through a Flamethrower. Since I outsped Pidgeot, I thought the same would apply to Charizard, but I'm wrong. I get hit with Flamethrower and die instantly. That makes 2 times now. Time to beat this. I go back for a 3rd time and all goes amazingly well, even Alakazam. It chooses to go for Recover and I get an easy win. Now I face off against Charizard, but this time I'm at full HP. Can I survive against a Flamethrower? Well, the answer is yes, barely, but I would be done if it was a crit. I Spore it and I'm able to get that magic win. Nora, you've become strong in this past, what, 8 hours we've been out of battles? Well done you. After beating Nora, it's time to go to the Pokemon League. I fight 1 or 2 trainers inside Victory Road because if there's anyone that's going to be a problem in the league, it's probably going to be Nora, and if that's the case, I can always train in there until I can beat her. So I go in and face Lorelei, and to be honest, of the 4 leaders, the one I was most afraid of was her. If I got hit constantly with ice moves, I'd probably be done for. And suffice to say, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. She leads with Dugong, and I'm already able to outspeed, so that's really good, but nothing can counter Shroomish. Her Cloyster goes down really fast with Spore and Slash. Lorelei then sends Slowbro. Once more, with Spore, then Slash. You can really see the pattern here. This has been going on for hours, mind you. I do have to use Spore a couple of times, but eventually I'm able to beat it with a combo of Slashes, Scratches, and even a Leech Life. Jinx is next and... oh crap. We get hit by Ice Punch and I was about to reset the game, but for some reason we're able to tank through a crit and then make it go to sleep and recover almost half of our health back thanks to Leech Life. Last comes Lapras, and I was afraid we wouldn't be fast enough, but we were and got an easy win after all with Spore and Slash. I do try to go for a Leech Life, but realize it's useless as I can just use a Max Potion or a Full Restore after the fight. 1 done, 3 to go. Bruno doesn't particularly need much attention, but this is a good example of why I should have had Swordsense or a good move against rock and ground types, which you'll see soon. But for now, time to get this fight out of the way. Bruno starts by sending Onix. Like always, Spore and Slash is the best method I had to take care of these rocky snakes. Then, after the first hit, I realized something. I had obtained Mega Drain from Erika and I had it in my inventory. For a second there, I hesitated between resetting or keep going, but I decided I would see this through as I was. So after taking care of Onix, Hitmonchan is next. I Spore it, then Scratch it in order to save moves, and then go for the big finish with Slash. Same thing with Hitmonlee, the only difference being that it is faster than us, so we get hit by Jump Kick, but it doesn't do much damage. Another Onix is sent, and it receives the same treatment as the first one. I do try to get some health back in this case because I wasn't sure what Machamp would try against me, and end up recovering to full HP, and I finish off Onix with a Scratch. The champ is last. I don't have any more sport, so I have no other choice but to go for Slash. The champ uses Fissure twice, but I'm unaffected by it, and I'm able to get a very easy win against Bruno. Overall, I'm already happy that Shroomish has been able to come all the way here, but it does have the potential to become champion, so let's press on. Before starting this fight, I actually end up teaching Mega Drain to Shroomish, which I should have made him learn earlier for two reasons. First, it will deal damage to ghost types like Leech Life, but also because Leech Life only has a total of 15 uses, and that wouldn't be enough to get through our entire team. After being done teaching, we go fight Agatha. This one ends up being super confusing. You'll see. It goes first, uses Hypnosis, and it hits. At that point, I thought it was over before it began, but no. Fortunately, I wake up right after and go for Spore, which hits Golbat instead of Gengar. We get Golbat to sleep, and so we go for Slash until its health is down. Next, we get sent Gengar back, and it must have thought we were still sleeping, as it goes for Dream Eater. That gives us the opportunity to make it go to sleep, and we're able to take care of it with no problem. Out comes Haunter, which goes for Hypnosis like his evolved form did, but also misses. I Spore it and try to go for Leech Life, but instead, Haunter gets switched out and I end up hitting an Arbok, dealing little damage. We are faster than it though, and we Spore it, only for it to be switched out for Haunter once more. And I think she's playing with us because as soon as I go for Mega Drain in order to spare some moves for other Pokemon, we get greeted with Arbok again. This time though, we're finally able to take care of it with a critical slash. Now, Haunter is back, but it's already sleeping and we go for Mega Drain, and of course it wakes up and goes for Hypnosis on the next turn. It misses again and we're able to Spore it, but as we're trying to get rid of it, Agatha sends Gengar. We get hit by Confuse Ray and Nightshade, but fortunately we can shake off the confusion and make Gengar go to sleep. Now that Agatha has nowhere to run anymore, we go for Leech Life on Gengar, taking it out and recovering our HP as well. Last Pokemon out, Haunter, but is at half HP and asleep. We just go for Leech Life and one use is enough to grant us our victory. Man, this fight was tiring. We do have more ahead of us though. Let's meet Lance and his team of dragons. Now, this fight is actually pretty straightforward and I win quickly. Gyarados gets hit with Spore, then a combo of Mega Drains and Slashes take care of it. His two Dragonairs are met with the same kind of treatment. Aerodactyl outspeeds us, but doesn't do much, and gets put to sleep then Mega Drained until there's nothing more to train. The last one is Dragonite, and it goes for Agility. We hit with Spore, then just Slash until we win. We've now hit level 80. That's it. We're the champions. We've made it! Or have we? Well, not exactly. Our good friend Nora was recently crowned champion and is waiting for us with a buffed up team. Let's go meet her then. Now again, before explaining how this went, I really should have been paying more attention and I should have gone for Swordsense. Let's just say this fight was brutal. I also make the mistake of saving right before going forward, which meant that I had to win or I wouldn't have enough move restoring items to come back here. So the fight starts and we have Pidgeot to fight. Now of course, since it's level 61, it will be faster than us, but it goes for Mirror move and we can easily Spore it and Slash it for a quick win. Next is Alakazam, and again uses a useless move, so we Spore, we Leech Life, and we Mega Drain for another quick win. Third one to be sent is Rhydon. So I'm faster, I use Spore, and now that we've got Mega Drain, we can deal super effective damage against it. Well, it's enough to one-shot it, that's great. 3 down, 3 to go. With Exeggutor, it's more of the same, we Spore, then Leech Life, and that's it. Gyarados is next. And now is where my fears become reality. This is what I feared. I get hit with Hyper Beam, and that crit is enough to get me down to red health. I need to recover badly, so I go for Leech Life and Mega Drain, but it's definitely not going to be enough for Charizard. I end up slashing Gyarados until it's down. Now comes Charizard, and we're really low HP. As soon as the fight starts, we get hit by Fire Blast, and that's it. We're done. But since we did get this far, I wasn't ready to give up, so I had to try again. Since I got a rare candy from Victory Road, I use it, raising my level to 81. It might not be much, but it can help somehow. We're able to go back to Gyarados, and although I get hit with Hyper Beam, it's not a crit. I use Spore and I'm able to take care of it pretty easily. It does use a Leer before dying, which sucks. Charizard is back and I get hit with Fire Spin. While it doesn't hit as much as Fire Blast would, it hits for enough turns to get my health pretty low. It ends up being irrelevant, as I don't even get a chance to attack and get hit with Fire Blast right after being freed. Time for try number 3. This could only go one of two ways. Either I would lose and go back to train until I could beat this, or by some chance Charizard would miss and I would be able to make it sleep for enough time for me to get the win. I quickly go back into the battle and get back to Charizard, this time with 173 HP. And it's just not enough to tank a Fire Blast. I get taken out like I'm made out of paper. I decide to go for one more before I go back and train. It all goes well until Gyarados is sent. This time, he chooses to go for Dragon Rage, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then I get hit by a Hyper Beam. I was about to reset, but I decided to go for it. I faced Charizard at 76 HP. By some miracle, it misses Fire Blast and I get an easy pass to victory, hitting 2 slashes for 2 crits. Nora, if this were real life, you would have won fair and square, but I'm glad you put up such a good fight. After all this hard work, I was finally able to become champion. So, how far exactly can Paras go? Let's analyze that, shall we? So, Paras, level 81, was able to reach the end of the game with 9 hours and 2 minutes of real time, with a time of 9 hours and 48 minutes in game, and with a grand total of 19 deaths. Now, by resetting the game after saving and losing a battle, the in-game time does go back to the time when the save was made, so my in-game time should have been higher. I won't be making any safety saves from now on, as we do end up making more than enough money to go around, even if we lose a couple of battles. Could I have died less? Well, yes, definitely. Those early deaths were really avoidable if I just stuck by training with Kakunas and Metapods, and in the mid-game to end-game, if I had learned Body Slam and then later Swordsense, I would have been just fine, having only a few deaths to count. Now, what does Hulk have to say? Not a moment too shrew. And I have to agree with him. I could have made this much easier on myself if I didn't make so many mistakes. But like everything, we do end up learning by making mistakes, so next time I'll do better. I also have to apologize for this video being so long. This is my first video, so I had a couple of things to explain at the very start and now at the end as well. And second, I was still messing around in Vegas while editing, so you've probably seen that while at the start all fights are in normal speed, fights do get sped up or down depending on what I'm saying later on. On a different note, I also know that more people do these kinds of runs. I do them for 3 reasons. First, because I love Pokemon. Second, because this is a different kind of challenge for me, and I get to see what kind of Pokemon can make it all the way through and how many can't while not using any items in battle or evolving. And last but not least, because every run is unique in its own way. And just because I get hit by Fire Blast or miss 7 hits in a row doesn't mean you will. And if I can do these videos, I will, and I will try my best to get better and to hopefully one day run them all. By the way, I want to know, let's make this some kind of question of the day. What is your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon and why? Let me know in the comment section below. If you liked the video, make sure you press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel and would like to be seeing more. Although, by the time I'm posting this video, you're definitely new to the channel. I also accept suggestions on what I can improve so that I can continue to provide the best runs at the best possible quality, so be sure to let me know. Bye everyone, and bye Nora. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all on the next Pokemon run. Bye.